Hello everyone, this is Adina here. Today I'd like to talk to you about the relationships, and I'd like to start with a quote from Byron Katie, which says like this: Our parents, our children, our spouses, our friends will continue to press every button we have until we realize what it is that we don't want to know about ourselves yet. They will point us to our freedom every time. So a few times I had to come out of committed relationships because the things didn't work out the way I wanted them to. And even though we both knew that separating was the best decision, it really didn't make the process any easier. It still hurt for both of us. And even knowing something, reasoning that it is the right thing to do, even intuiting that things will not get better and separation is the right action to take, still it really hurt each and every time. So between relationships, there is a natural healing process, but I don't believe that that is enough. You need to help yourself to really get better, not only from a relationship to another, but your whole belief system about relationships. Because when a relationship ends, there are so many broken pieces of your life that must be put together, so much change and so much uncertainty. So most of the time we let anger, pain, disappointment to be carried away in the next relationship because we didn't allow ourselves to consciously work on our healing. We start out asking ourselves, shall I date again? What's wrong with me? What do I need to change? Was it my fault? Most of the time, I continue to ask myself these questions over and over again without any real answer or any closure or not even a conclusion of why the things happened the way they happened repeatedly. So, how many of us develop the limited belief that I cannot trust men or women if we are men or whatever relationship you're having? So is this really, if this belief is not cleared and healed, we will recreate the same situations again and again, destroying our new relationship or staying out of relationship to avoid the disappointment. So I have to recognize that I was the biggest saboteur for my relationships. So I was finding reasons to argue. I was finding faults in my partner just to match my belief system. So the most important step in our healing process, I believe, that is to understand from where our baggage comes from and to take the necessary actions to clear them and to liberate ourselves from them. So I hope you understand the term baggage as it relates to relationship. For example, you can say, "Oh, she has so much baggage," or "Oh, I wouldn't date him because he comes with way too much baggage," or here the baggage points toward a previous negative experience or event or belief that are brought into current relationship. So the baggage is every negative emotions, defining events, limited beliefs that we have collected throughout our life and that we carry around with us all the time. So I often ask myself, why do we attract the same kind of person again and again, or why do our relationship often seem to get worse as we get longer? I mean, I thought that with aging, wisdom comes, like with the time and the experience, wisdom comes. But instead of this, I became more angry and with the more relationship that I attempted to make, you know. And again, it was just baggage that I picked up from relationship after relationship, experience after experience. So I reached a point where I had to say I can either choose to heal, to let go, or return these bags to wherever they came from, and to feel, you know, release of them, or and to have a healthy relationship, my next relationship to be a healthy one and successfully stay in that relationship. Or I could decide just to carry the stuff around. So basically I've decided to do some healing. So this is what I found out as being like my most common baggages, so to say, and maybe some of you will resonate with them as well. So I found out that I had baggages like from my parents. And baggages from our parents in general, not only mine, but in general, are often the first example we have of what the relationship looks like. So, especially because they surround us in our early years. So, we as children have a strong tendency to model what they do and say. So, the most extreme levels, for example, like patterns of abuse, verbal, physical, or emotional, tend to be repeated again and again from generation to generation. So, for example, if a child saw his father beat his mother, or even his mother beat his father, because that happens again when he or she was angry, and the child learns, then the child learns that. Often subconsciously, that it is an appropriate response or behavior. Of course, there are so many examples when the pattern was not repeated by children, and was not violence or verbal abuse or emotional abuse in the next generation. But you have to be very, very strong not to copy the pattern from your parents. So normally, if there wasn't abuse in the family, children pick up the subtle patterns of relating and carrying them in the future. So, for example, it's not abuse, but does the father go quiet or close down after the end of a stressful day at work? Or does the mother nag her husband to get things done? So, what does the child really learn from the witnesses of all this? Because we are not aware that we put this into the children. We were not aware that we took this from our parents. So, basically, we learned, and our children will learn, that this is how things happen in life. So I invite you to ask yourself, like, what lessons are you carrying around? Any of these statements resonate with you? For example, love hurts. You can never leave, no matter how bad it gets. You have to give up who you are to be in a relationship. You have to give up on the things you love. The angry one is the winner or has the power, or never talk about your needs, don't expect anything from your partner. So after that, once you have the answer to these questions and statements, just think about your family. So how was love shown in your family, if it was shown? How were the disagreements handled? If somebody had a problem or needed help, uh, how did they get the support? Who had the power, who didn't? Um, what happened with your uncles, not only with your parents, but your uncles, your cousins, your grandparents, your aunts? Just ask the same question. How was love expressed there? How did they support each other? And through this helps us to see the patterns and the belief that we have been handed down for several generations, to be honest. So another common baggage is the baggage from past relationships. So think about your previous relationships where negative emotions remained, like anger, sadness, even grief. So the opportunity here is to let go of the baggage of the past relationship, to let go of generational patterns from our parents, from past relationships, and to really get into and create a healthy relationship, nurturing one at every level. So make a list of the significant relationships that you've had, and see where this went wrong and what happened. Find the reasons. What do you believe were the reasons for that relationship to end? Um, so what conclusions do you take from there? So just think about every relation that you can come up. For example, I was not attractive, I was not sexy enough, he couldn't handle that I had a kid, or I couldn't handle that she had the kids. I was too needy, clingy, jealous, and so on. I was so insecure. One of my baggage, or there is something wrong with me. Never had that. I was always the best. So by doing this, you will find the reasons you gave yourself for why the relationship ended. And most likely after reviewing everything, you will be able to put like new eyes on it, like as if you put a pair of glasses and you see the situation from a different perspective. So seeing the situation in a different perspective, it won't change what happened, but it will help you to fasten, like to get the healing process a little bit faster, and to retain the learning from the event without having to keep the uncomfortable feelings associated with it. So if you'd like to hear more about this topic and to hear about my techniques that I have applied on myself to assist my natural healing process, please just send me a message and we can schedule a chat together and see how we can work together. So thank you so much for listening and take care of yourselves.